Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 191. It is a nice Thursday morning, up early, ready to go. And today I have a block of 2 hours worth of meetings back to back. And it's pretty much one of the worst times of day for it. But we deal with it. So this morning we're going to head off to one casino. On the way there, we're going to be doing a meeting, and then once we arrive, we're going to play that casino. Then we're going to be traveling to the next casino, and during that time we'll have those 2 hours worth of meetings. Then we will have 3 hours of time to play, and then a half-hour meeting. And then we'll go to another casino and then head home. Once we get close to our home city, I have a meeting that lasts about an hour, and I'll be going to that. Once that's over, we're going to dinner with the family late, like 7:30 or something like that, for a special occasion. And then we'll go home and get rested for tomorrow. So that's what's going on there. I think yesterday I made around $2,400 or $2,500. I haven't really added it up, but I'm pretty sure that's close. So decent day. I'd like to replicate that today. If I can, then definitely going to be back on track again. But I still want to focus heavy on Friday and Sunday and trying to make more money than I normally would, just to help get back on track. We're going to take things one step at a time. So right now it is a little after 6:45, and heading off to the next casino, the first casino, and then I'll come back. Alright guys, I'm back. I'm going to try to record this again. I started recording this segment and I got a few minutes into it, and then my map disclosed my location, so I'm going to do it over again here. So I want to do kind of a mailbag segment right now because it seems like you guys really like that. And I got a question that's a pretty good question actually from someone. Now, he asked me a couple different things in his email, but one of the things that he asked me about was must hit by jackpots. And he was talking about, okay, so you're going to calculate a must hit by and figure out the entry point that you want. And you see a machine at that entry point, and you start playing, and then you get a big hit that may be as big as what you're chasing or more. Do you continue the play? And that's a very good question. One thing that he said is, do you stop and recalculate the amount of money you're going to win at a lower return to player and see if that helps and see if it's still in range? And the answer is maybe. So I mean, it's up to you, but let me give you my experience and what I've done and what I've seen in my life. The other day, maybe a month and a half ago, me and a friend of mine were at an Indian casino, and he was looking at a $500 must hit by jackpot, and it was just barely in range or just barely out of range. It was right there on the border. He sat down, he started playing, and he had about $50 in the machine, and he hit a big bonus, and it paid $650, so above the amount that he's playing. He looked at me and he asked me what I thought he should do, and I said, I think you should get up, and he did. Now, that makes sense because it's just barely at that range where it could go either way. You might make money, you might lose money. And later on, I think I even mentioned it on the podcast, later on we came back around, and this Asian guy was down about $400 on the play, and it was still pretty far away from hitting. And how did we know that he was about $400 down on the play? The guy had an interesting way of keeping track of how much he was down. So, you know, we try to keep track on our phone or just remember, but what he would do is once he got, he'll put a $100 bill in the machine, and once his ticket got below $1, he would cash out and put it on the slot machine. And then he would see how many of those he had, and then he knew how many hundreds he was in. It's kind of an interesting way of doing things. That's not the way I do it, but it's an interesting way to do it. Anyway, so he was basically down the amount of money that he was trying to win already, and he was still far away from hitting. So we know that most likely he's going to end up with a negative payout. Now, when you're chasing a bigger jackpot, like let's say $5,000, or let's say it was at like $498, obviously it's in range. No, you don't even have to do the calculations, right? There are a few machines that would still not be a play on, but I'm not going to discuss that. They're rare machines. I see them, but do your homework, obviously, do the math. But for a regular must-hit buy, if it's at $498 and you just got a big payout, be happy because you're going to get the $500 payout as well. Let's say you're chasing a $5,000 must-hit buy, and you get a big hit. I don't know what a big hit's going to be. Let's say $1,200, $1,400 on a $5,000 must-hit buy. You need to look at your position, and if it's borderline, you can consider abandoning it. But if you're way in the money, then I would not abandon it. And there's a couple reasons for that. Let's say you are ahead $1,200 early, but you got it at a good number. Let's say your number is, I'm just making up a number here, 49.90, and it's at 49.92. Obviously, these are wrong numbers. You're never going to see them at those numbers, but you're already in the money, and you know that the 49.90 was definitely a good number, and you're at 49.92. You continue to play it, no matter what, at that point, for a couple reasons. Even if it wipes out your profit, you end up breaking even, or you only end up ahead 1,000 instead of 1,200 that you're already ahead. What are you gaining by chasing that must-hit buy jackpot? You're gaining points. And if you have a double or triple or 5 times points day with like certain properties do that, then you're earning even more points, and you should calculate the value of those points into your calculations. Also, if you've never been there and you're chasing that $5,000 must-hit buy, and you don't live in that area, but you got a new card there, you might get some offers, right? We'll just leave it at that. But so that's my answer to that. I hope that makes a lot of sense. I hope that answers your question. He also asked me some other things and talked about the variance that I've been having, but we'll just leave it there for now, and I'll be back after my first stop here. All right, guys, I am back. That was crazy. Cray to the triple Z. That was nuts in there. Oh, I can't believe what just happened in there. So I go in there. I've got like 40 minutes until I have a meeting. So I go around, look at everything, and I get stuck on this machine, and it's paying terribly. And I follow through with it all the way through. And by the time I'm done, I'm just crushed on this machine. It's a high denomination, and it's just killing me. And by the time I get up off that machine, I'm down $655. I'm like, it's just the worst thing that could happen. So I move on. I've got like 10 or 12 minutes left. I move on to another machine. I hit that one. It gets me up to 150, 151, something like that. And then at this point, I'm in for 700. So I'm down whatever, 550. I go to another machine, I play that one through. Now I'm in for 800, and I end up down $645 again. So no, wait, $545. So I'm down $545. I've got like 1 minute till my meeting. I run to the car. I don't even cash my ticket. I run to the car, and I get in the meeting. And 2 minutes after, 4 minutes after, nobody's in there. So I check, and the meeting's been moved to tomorrow. So now I'm like, well, I guess I'm going back in to cash my ticket. So I go back in, and I talk to this kind of advantage player guy. He knows enough, but he's a degenerate at the same time. And I've seen him around a lot. And he's got a whole crew of people that go in there with him. And I recently have seen him just playing stuff that he shouldn't be playing. So then I learned, he's really a degenerate that knows some things. And, if you hang out in the casinos long enough, you eventually figure things out. Sometimes it takes years, many years, but you eventually figure them out. So I go back in there. I see him sitting at a machine. I talk to him for a few minutes, and he tells me, hey, man, there's this play back there. It's at $5 a spin, but I just, last time I played it, it just wrecked me, and I just don't want to play it. I said, all right, I'll go take a look. I said, I'm down. I might as well give it a shot. We'll see. I go back there, and it's actually better than I thought, because the denomination that it was at pays a little bit better, or let's just say pays differently. So I sit down. I've got my vouchers like $255, and I'm playing, and I hit for like 40 and 100 and 300 and back and forth, up and down, and I'm getting tons of points now, right? I think I got over $3,000 coin in already at this point. So I keep on playing it, and I hit a line hit that was $1,893 on a line hit, and I got paid for that, and then I finished out the play and did okay. And by the time everything was over, I went from being down like 554 or something to being ahead $1,807. And so I found the guy who told me about it, and I gave him a chop of it. Actually, I'll tell you, I usually wouldn't, but in this case, he really saved my butt, and this is way too much. Don't give this much, but I gave him $100. So this is a guy I've seen for a long time, but we didn't know each other. We met today. From what I hear from other people, he's a really good guy. He's got a good heart. He's a smart guy. He's not going to cheat you. And I thought it would make sense for me to give him $100. And that way in the future, if I see him, he sees me, he's going to say, look, I found this other play, but I can't afford it. You go play it. And I might make more money in the future. So I think it's just good business for me to do that. And that was it. Came back to the car, and right now I have another hour and a half drive to my next place. I'm going to take my time getting there. I have a meeting starting in a half hour, and then it'll be an hour long, so it'll be just right. By the time I get there, the meeting would just be ending, and I'm going to get my beef broth out and enjoy that, sip that for a while, and continue on my trip, and then I'll be back to update you. But what a difference. I mean, to run out of there down that much money and not even having enough time to cash my voucher, to coming back in and hitting a score like that was amazing. So anyway, I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. So interesting experience there. So I go into this place, and I'm checking the slots. I don't see anything, which is fine. It's very busy, and I'm on my way to play blackjack, and I walk by this area where there's a blackjack with a progressive, and I see, we've talked about it before, that it's going to hit soon. But I feel like it's going to be about 20 minutes or more, and so I just pass on it, because the tables that you can win it on are hit 17. So I play the stay 17 table instead, and I'm there just watching it go up, and when it gets close, I switch over to that one, and at that point, I'm ahead $800 on the blackjack. So now I sit down and start playing this side bet, and I played 5 hands, pushed one, won one, lost a couple. Anyway, on my 5th hand, I hit it. And the funny thing is, there's a side bet associated with the progressive that when you play it, you get both. And I actually won $100 on the side bet. It's only $5 a bet on that one. And then I won the progressive, and I ended up ahead $571 on that progressive in 5 hands at $5 bets. And then I ended up minus 100 on the blackjack. So total for that table, just 5 hands, was plus $471, and the count was negative. It didn't matter to me at that point. I was ready to go anyway. So blackjack, I ended up ahead a total of $1,271, and then I did play some slots, and I ended up ahead $8 on that. Nothing to really, talk about there. No real plays, but so far so good. Let me see here. Right now, I am going to the next place. At this place, most likely going to just be slots, and probably not a lot of them. I'm going to check my work email and stuff, make sure everything is good, and then head there, and I'll come back and update you. But it's so fun when that works. And that side bet, I'm up so much money on that side bet. I should keep track, but I think I've won it 5 out of 7 or 4 out of 6 times that I've played it. And in the meantime, as I was waiting for it to hit, I'm ahead on the actual side bet also. So, I mean, how can you beat that? It cost me nothing, and I've hit it that many times. So, all right, moving on to the next spot, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So I go into the next casino, and usually I can't find anything to play here. I did find one slot to play, and it did not treat me well. Ended up leaving that ahead $9. And then I did find a blackjack table, sat down, started playing, and on a negative shoe, I ended up leaving ahead $500. So plus 500 on the blackjack. Talked to a pit boss who is a friend of mine. Talked to him for a few minutes, and then plus $9 on the slots. And that place is kind of a weird place. It's in a weird part of town, and it's a little bit scarier crowd than other places. But hey, money is money. We'll take whatever we can get. So right now, let's see. Outside, it's nice. I didn't even notice. It's 75 degrees out. It's a few clouds in the sky, but mostly sunny skies. You gotta love it. Not too humid outside. So it's fall starting to seep in here slowly. Right now, I'm going to move on to another place where I may or may not get a chance to play, but we're going to give it a shot. And hopefully, I can play a little bit of blackjack, make a little money, and then move on from there. So one step at a time, we're going to go in here. If things go quick, I have one more stop I want to make before the next casino. If it takes a little bit longer, then I'll just move on to the next casino. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So I think I've got a personal problem here with this place. I know for sure they don't want me here, and I feel like I'm playing scared right now when I go here. So the best thing to do might be just to not go there. I think that makes the most sense. I mean, I'm still winning, but I feel like I'm not making the best decisions that I could. I'm leaving too early, things like that. This time I went in there, couldn't find any slots to play. Went to the blackjack table, sat down, started playing, bought in for 500. That lasted for 10 or 15 minutes. Bought in for another 500 as the count started going up. Lost that, bought in for a third 500, and that got me stabilized. And I played for a while, and then I left at the end of a shoe, but I was only ahead $150. And it's like, why am I leaving only ahead $150? I have time. I'm doing it because I know that there are multiple people here that will tell me to leave if they see me. And I need to just let it go and just either play there the way I normally do or not play there at all. And the thing I'm worried about, and I should never be worried about, is leaving there down, getting kicked out while I'm down. And that's, like I said yesterday, that's a personal problem. And I need to avoid that. I need to not think that way and think long term. But it's just like, I remember the first casino that kicked me out. I was ahead like 700, and I ended up leaving ahead like 400 or 500 for the day, whatever happened that day. And I was kicking myself that day because I was ahead 700 and I didn't leave, and then I lost some back before they made me leave. And I shouldn't think that way, because I know that most of the time when I'm down, I can recover because I have enough ammo to recover. And if you're playing a $25 or $50 table, let's say a $50 table, and you have up to $10,000, not including chips, you got 200 bets. That's plenty, you know, and you should be able to be okay most of the time, especially if you have a low threshold for leaving. But yeah, that's I just got to watch myself and not worry so much about that kind of thing. But I did end up leaving ahead 150, so that's good. I have another meeting in an hour and 10 minutes. I am going to stop somewhere real quick, buy a couple things I want to get, and then I am going to be on the road during that meeting, on my way to the next casino. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. I'm just leaving this casino. Still have about 100 miles range on my car, so I'll need to fill up again on the way home, but doing okay today. I believe I'm up about 3,500, 3,600 today. I just left this place. When I went in there, it was getting crowded, of course. End of the day, everyone's getting off work or leaving work early or whatever, going to the casino. Yeah, I saw everybody that I knew in there, and they were all just hanging around, which means they'd already checked everything. And I found a good play on a machine, but I was a little worried about it just because the recent updates on the machine made it pay out a little bit less, and I was concerned that it was going to drag on for a long time. But I go back there and I look at it again and think about it, and I get two people's opinion. One said do it because he wants to borrow money, and one said don't do it. And I thought about it, and technically it was a play. It was $4 a spin. I decided to go ahead and go for it. And I was involved for I was actually in the machine for 500, and I finally hit a piece of it, which made the rest of it not worth it anymore. And I ended up leaving that machine down exactly $120. So I was minus 120, put me in a little bit of a bad mood because this place is so limited already. And then on top of that, now we've got other people there and they've already looked at things. So I'm walking around, I find another play, I play that one through, I lose $5. I'm like, come on now, let's get something going here. And finally I was on my way out, I see one more machine, I play that one through. That one was at $2 a spin, and play that one through and actually do pretty well pretty quickly, and I end up leaving the session ahead $33. So plus $33 there. And I believe I have free food there, but I'm not really eating right now, so I'm going to have some more of this broth, and then I've got this meeting going on. If I head straight back, I'll be about 20 to 30 minutes early, probably 20 minutes early. I'll need to stop for gas, so it's probably a good idea just to head back right now and get gas, take my time, and then go to my meeting. After the meeting, we're going to have dinner with the family, so I will be eating. That will be around between 7:30 and 8, which would put me a couple hours away from where I would need to stop my fast anyway, which is fine. I'm good with that. I know I had the watermelon. I get it, but this is life, man. In fact, you're going to be surprised. I might be doing another contest like that here. I will let you know what happens with that. So anyway, beautiful day right now, 84 degrees outside. Continuing on, I'm going toward home right now, and I'll come back and update you shortly. Alright guys, I am back, just got fueled up, going to continue my trip home. I just got fuel for $2.60. How do you like that, California? No, I'm kidding. No, without discounts, it was $2.60 a gallon. So you gotta love that. You gotta love the Midwest, where we have nowhere leading to the ocean, no exposure to the ocean at all. Fuel has to be brought in on trucks, and still it's cheaper than it is on the coast. What does that tell you? Think about it. Anyway, let's do our segments. What did you eat today, MW? How dare you ask me that? You know all I had today was broth. Had some more of that broth. It was delicious. 10 on a scale of 2 through ace. You gotta love it. It's good. It stayed warm the whole day. It's after 5 p.m. already, and it was still warm, so enjoying that very much. And what did you tip today, MW? And today's gonna shock you. It's gonna shock you. Today, I tipped casino personnel $0. However, I did give $100 to that guy that referred that machine to me, and that is an investment in the future, and I think it was money well spent. So that was all good. Today about 3,600. Yesterday about 2,500. So that's 6,000 plus in the last 2 days, and we're hoping tomorrow is going to be more of the same. So it's going to take it one step at a time, and we'll see what happens. Right now, continuing my trip as it's starting to get a little uncomfortable outside. 88 degrees outside, and we're continuing on, and then we'll do all the things I said I was going to do, and I guess we'll catch up with each other tomorrow. So if you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.